Right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to start the monthly meeting for the Kyle Park Commission. It is 7 p.m. on the dot. And with that, I believe everybody has a copy of the agenda.
The formatting got a little wonky because of the first two categories.
Yeah.
They copied each other for some reason. But everything is there, and so Vanessa, you can just kind of go down the list, however you want to do it.
Okay, and I wish I'd known that. I could have just made copies and brought them to you guys. The agenda that we posted had a little bit more specificity to it, so I'll just kind of go down the list as we're going down, because what I basically done is, as we were getting ready to talk about each topic on the agenda, I actually put the person who's gonna be leading that discussion or that report or that particular piece, I had their name at the end, so I'll just, but you all know who you are, because I've already contacted you and said, if you're doing something, I need you to do the following for me. So, and we'll always do it like that. The other thing, before we get started, you'll always notice that I'll always contact you at least 5 to 7 days, the week before our meeting to say, do you have anything for the agenda? So you can give that to me to add to the agenda, which then I give to Michael, and then it is posted for the public to be able to view as well as yourself. You can go on to the, city's website where it has the list of all of the meetings for all the boards and all the commissions. And that is where our agenda is posted for anybody to be able to see. The other thing you'll notice is that we're being, taped, recorded tonight. Hopefully this will be always the circumstances so that the meeting can be looked at by our citizens or, if they come or if they want to look at it after the fact, they'll be able to do that. All right, so I did call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Let's do the roll call with our secretary, Ms. Stephanie.
So everyone is present besides Melanie and Liz.
Liz. Okay. All righty. So, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do the citizens' comments, which following the Open Meetings Act is a time where any citizens, can come in and provide comments to us. Not to say that we will act on them or do anything upfront, but we are open to listen to citizen comments, and it could be something that comes up on another point in time, on another agenda at another day. So with that said, I don't see anybody in the room for citizens' comments, but we did get 2 correspondence that I submitted to our secretary, and she's gonna read those to us at this time.
So the first email is from Megan Partlow, and she says, please consider the idea of creating a landmark theme across the entire city to beautify the community. Here's my suggestions. Similar to San Marcos's Mermaids and my hometown, Saratoga Springs, New York's Horses, we could define our city with statues that mark areas of interest throughout the city. Highly recommend a citywide survey to determine the theme, as there's quite a few residents who wonder why the city focuses so heavily on pie when we only have one pie shop with a very large sign. Recommendations to consider: taco statues due to history with fajitas and the Falcons, pie statues if citizens primarily want that, stagecoach statues, as Kyle has a prominent history around the El Camino Real, as well as other historic trails between San Antonio and Austin. It would bring art to the entire city and could be placed in select locations that are of historical value. And the second email is from Jordan Newman, and they say, I live here in Kyle with my son, about 0.8 miles from downtown in the Four Seasons neighborhood. I rent my house out on Airbnb pretty frequently, and I was hoping to promote Kyle and paint this mural that I created on my garage door, but my HOA won't allow it. I was wondering if you'd be interested in commissioning my freelance company, JN Designs, to paint this mural somewhere in the city. I could work out a quote for you if you are interested. This particular mural is sized at 16 feet wide, 7 feet high. I would be open to feedback from you guys on making any tweaks if you would like. And Here's a picture of the mural.
I'm gonna send it around so you can see it. Over at the park, at the pool, inside the gate.
She was showing the image that they sent from, with the email. The proposed one. Sorry, what is this image?
That's the image of the pool. I'm sorry, hold on a minute. There was one more. Did you get that third one?
It's,
Okay,
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hold on there for a second. Did you get that third one? I sent you a third one. Did you get the third one?
I didn't get the third.
Okay,
one.
there's a third one about the mural at the pool. That's what that was for. I'm ahead of myself, sorry.
Can I read that then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So this one is also from Meg Partlow. It says, "Thank you so much for your amazing work on the art you added over at the City of Kyle pool. Was hoping you might consider painting the very large and very plain cement median on Burleson at Marketplace. For consideration, I believe it's around 70 feet by 4.5 feet, and it's on an incline and would be easily visible to all who drive by. There is minimal likelihood of getting scuffed off as there is no foot or bike traffic on this particular cement median. Would be cool to see some fun uplifting art there."
You see like the locations in here, Burleson, Lisbon.
Market Square.
Marketplace, Burleson at.
And, just an FYI, I couldn't find it. I went looking for it.
Mhm.
I could not find this area she's referring to about this easement.
Like Marketplace where McDonald's is. Isn't that where the?
Yeah, so I'm guessing, I'm guessing it's past the roundabout.
Okay,
Isn't that wall right by the roundabout before
the one on the bridge?
railroad? Yeah, before you get,
Okay, there's not, it's not that high though. It's probably maybe 3 feet from the ground.
that's what I thought.
And it's on each side of the bridge area. That's the only area I was able to find, but I thought she was talking about something a little bit bigger than that, but needless to say, I went looking for it. So A is the mural of the pool that she was referring to. I don't know who did that. That went through the Parks Department.
Which I can find that information.
Okay, overall, so that's what she's talking about, having more of those around the city. And then this particular place is basically the wall of the bridge. So if you're by Coles and you're turning southbound, right? And you're heading towards the circle, there's a easement over the bridge, but I think that's maybe like 3 feet high or something like that. The only biggest issue I can see with that is that road does not belong to us, it belongs to the county, which means that would be a lot of hoops to have to go through to try to get something painted along that side, and it's not that big.
And I think that's to start building over there too.
Yeah, they are.
If that's still, I don't even know if they'll all stay in that capacity.
Right.
Yeah, they may change it.
And we may need to get clarification if that's the place that she's talking about,
Yeah.
so.
So what I did basically is I was on Burleson Marketplace, and I drove all the way to the end of HEB, all the way to that, I can't remember what the name of that road is, when you get you're dead into the road, you turn right, now you're behind
Yeah.
HEB. So I looked at all of that, and I didn't find anything other than the bridge area, that's it.
So I think that we should probably table this because we're not really in a space to make any decision about anything.
I agree.
So the conversation is sort of using up time that's not necessary.
Well, okay, not necessarily, because we are gonna have this on our agenda to talk about in just a little bit, in regards to this idea of the mural. There's other instances, so, but just wanted to let you know, because somebody said, where's she talking about? Not quite sure, okay?
Okay.
All right, but it's part of citizens' comments, and we did get through everything that was given to us by way of citizens, so we're gonna close citizens' comments. Those are the only 3 things that I received, and that information came through our new email, our Gmail, Arts Commission that we have access to, that Michael was nice to set up for us. Okey dokey. All right, moving on to the citizens' comments. There's no visitors. We're moving on from that. Everybody got a copy of previous minutes. It should be in front of you. I'll give you just a second to take a look at it. Let me know if there's any type of clarifications to be made. Michael, can you go on and make us a copy of this one? Sure. Stephanie, the only thing I noticed on the second page at the top, first paragraph, where it says Vanessa Westbrook discussed how long board members will serve, you can take off the "for" part. Just put a period after serve. Anybody else knows anything else? Okay, and with that said, I'd like to, have the minutes approved by the body. All those in favor of approving the minutes? Say yes. 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 All right. Any negatives? In fact, everybody knows say yes, okay. So the minutes are approved, which is that minor, scratch out of the "for" on the second page. Okay. And then I'm gonna sign this one, you're gonna sign that one, and give it to Mike. All right, let me, pass out to you, thank you. Let me pass out to you the agenda with a little bit more detail to it. All right, so I have assignment for you. All right, so at this point in time, I'd like to spend just a little bit of time in welcoming our seventh board member, commission member, I'm sorry, we're not a board, we're commission. And Ms. Vicky, will you tell us a little bit about yourself, please, ma'am?
Okay, my name is Vicky Price. I have lived in Kyle exactly a year now. I've been in the Austin area for a little over 11 and a half years. Made a real active decision to move down here last year, one of the schools. And so I have a son who is a freshman in Hayes, and I have a son who is a middle schooler in Wallace. So we're in the hometown Kyle area, very, very, very involved in the schools. And I was very motivated to put in my application to join the commission because one thing I noticed coming down here, a lot of fabulous growth, a lot of people, great neighborhoods, a lot of outdoor activity, more than I even saw where we were in North Boston. However, it seems that just in the last year, we're really losing a sense of being a small town, and it's more or less like any other subdivision or suburb off of a highway. So it was very motivated because I think that the arts, we can do something about that between festivals and other community events and the murals. That was one of my thoughts too, mural idea, just anything we can do to bring awareness and involve as much of the community as possible. I am a single mom, and by day I work for Charles Schwab, I'm a communication consultant, and I work on equity plans, B2B. So.
Is Charles Schwab's in this area in Austin?
So because I'm a licensed representative with the Series 7 and 63, it's actually my house. It's
Okay.
considered an office. So, but the main office is in Domain.
Okay, cool, thank you. All right, we're gonna go around the table just for a few minutes for the rest of the commission. I'm just give you a quick little blip about themselves, and the more we interact, the more you'll find out a lot more about us. We do have two members missing who haven't showed up yet, and that's Liz Cavazos and Melody Akins. And Melody's actually on the agenda, so hopefully she'll show up between now and then. All right, we'll start with,
Actually, can you go ahead? I'm gonna look up, Elizabeth's number and text her just to make sure. Okay.
All
So
right.
she's on.
Tara.
My name is Karen Monroe, and I am a Art 1 middle school art teacher at Simon Middle School at County 50. And I have a lot of extra jobs and I get paid with a twist and just kind of freelance myself out wherever I can. And I joined the commission because I love the small town feel. I spent a lot of time in the old downtown Kyle, so for me, it still feels small. I don't venture out too much in the lake if I can help it. And down 150 is still so cool and like, so And I would like to see art and people involved in events. I'm so big about events, so I like, the whole concept of just making things grow.
All right. And I'm Vanessa Westbrook. I am a retired professor at the University of Texas at Austin, and I did another 3 more years. I got called into it at Texas State. In between that, I've done a lot of consulting work for ExxonMobil, NASA, various types of entities. I'm a PhD in engineering, but most of my work is focused on science and STEM and working in schools and higher ed and that kind of thing like that. I'm an artist, a visual artist, so I've done paint, I've done galleries over the area in Texas throughout. Not so much since COVID. I think my last event actually was in February 2020. And then that show was shut down because of March 2020, and I've not done anything since then. It's just always just been a hobby for me. So I'm the chair of the commission, and I do a lot of work around town in other aspects of the community, city council meetings, all those kinds of things like that in regards to just being able to show how our city can be diverse and small and nice and all those little things at the same time, that hometown feel, knowing that we're growing hugely, as you just already pointed out. I'm Vanessa. Good to meet you.
My name's Stephanie, and I'm a student at UT, and I'm studying government. I love art, always have. My favorite mediums are probably oil paint and just like graphite pencil. I've commissioned art. I really just love art history, everything about it. I've lived in Kyle all my life, and again, like what you were saying, I've seen it change a lot, and it's interesting to now be a part of the community, you know, being in the commission. So yeah, just,
And thank you for being so nice to me today to me.
yes, of course.
Cheers.
Yep, she was our official representative to be at that meeting that day.
I'm Michael, I'm the adult services librarian here at the library, and, you know, my job is as the liaison between the commission and the city, and just making sure that whatever needs doing gets done by the right people.
All right.
Okay, my name is Brooke. I guess I'm not bored with all my degrees, but I have a master's in sociology, master's in mathematics, and PhD in medicine. I currently run a nonprofit that I founded here. I used to work with the National Institute of Health, but written really well with grants, currently still write grants to kind of fund the work. I work in Hayes County, Charles County, and Tarrant County jails with inmates, and we provide marriage therapy and art therapy to people in this county. We're actually the only program that's currently in Hayes County right now, besides AA. So we're really excited about that. And my own personal art and some mixed media. I do a lot of welding, so I do a lot of metal work. I do kind of fabric. So that's my art, but I'll just go from there. But yeah, so my interest in Kyle right now is theater. So I'm really big in the theater. Around the area. So I feel like that's something that's working. That's gonna be.
Thank you. All right, so like I said,
We're glad you're here.
we've been waiting on our seven. All righty then. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do real quick is gonna do a chair report. And this is something that we're going to implement into our agenda just to kind of get a feel of things that's been going on from the last time that we met. And as part of the chair report, a couple of things has happened over the past month since we met. We've had actually 2 events. We're going to hear about those this evening. We also have been invited to a couple of different types of events. And the more that we can put ourselves out in the community, the better that they can see us. And so one of the things I would strongly ask is that if there's an event that any of us can be at, to please put it on the agenda so that we can show up and be there as the art commission, so that folks get a feel for who we are, for the most part. There was, the second Saturday of every month, there is Market Day. And the Kiwanis Club provides free books to kids. At this event, they're actually located inside the activity center. They did have a booth outside, but the city asked them to go ahead and start using the inside of the building. So they give out books, but they also do story time, and they ask VIPs from around the city to come and participate and read books to the kids. And it's gotten bigger and bigger. Last Saturday, as a matter of fact, we gave away 5 boxes of books to kids, and they're all brand new books, and they range from 2-year-olds all the way up to middle school age kids. Stephanie has been just a big representative for us. She's come to just about every single book reading, and with her favorite book that she has, and she comes and she reads to the kids. And it's been just really, really nice. We've had community members, we've had city council people, we've had commissioners, we've had the judges, all of those folks have come to do their little part for reading. And it only takes like 10 minutes. So we got another one come up, I'll talk about it at announcement time. We had 2 events that we also did. And we also if it wasn't last Friday, it was Friday before last, the Catherine Ann Porter Literary Society had a author event. And it was on a Friday evening. It started at 7 o'clock. They had a light reception. And then they actually brought in an author who came and read his book to us. And each of us received a copy of the book. And just an FYI, there's another one tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at the Catherine Ann Porter. And they were very happy to see an art commission representative there. I hope we can get more of us to come out and support those kinds of things, because this Catherine Ann Porter event is right up our alley of what we're trying to do. And so bringing in a group that's already up and running and adding them to what we're providing to the community just make things that much better. Plus the fact that we can also say, if we say something that we're endorsing or we're sponsoring or we encourage from the Art Commission, it gets put on the city's advertisement. Other than that, it's a private entity that won't. So we'll talk about that in just a second. We'll talk about the quilt show. So that's most of my report, is the events that we've done over the past month. And every time I find out something's going on, I'm sending you guys an email saying if any way possible, if you try to come, please come and introduce yourself as an Art Commission's member. When I went to the the quilt show, I asked Melody, what does she need from us? Because we voted that we were going to endorse the quilt show. And so that means that, we're behind it, we're supporting it, et cetera. And so I said, what did you need for us? She said, for us to come and to make them know who we were. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to get over there either Saturday or Sunday. That's where my purse came from. But anyway, I did, and I introduced myself to all the members of the Quilt Society. And I was the Art Commission, and got a lot of ideas of things that they were interested in from the Art Commission. And that's how we find out what our citizens and residents want, is they figure out who we are and they come to us and ask us questions or give us comments, concerns, etc. Okay, so that is my report as the chair of what we've done for this past month. So the next thing on the agenda was meeting format discussion that you wanted to bring up.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I feel like our meeting formats are not going in a very, in a direction where all voices get to be heard on our commission. And so my proposal is that we kind of dissolve the titles and we refocus back on what our goals are, and we realign our meetings to make sure that we're utilizing the strengths of everyone in our group. It feels very heavy in certain directions, and I don't know that everyone's voice actually gets time to express an opinion, and sometimes it feels that things are glossed over while others have spent a lot of time. So I think that it would be important to play to our strengths as a group and to kind of look at a variety of different structures. One of those being that we each take and run our own kind of committee. I feel that a lot of our discussion has been about what we're doing, and as a commission, it shouldn't be about what we're doing. It should be about how we're organizing to pull people in from the city to do things. So that being said, I think that, you know, if we're looking to create our logo or our webpage, we should probably look to Liz, who has a lot of experience in graphic design and webs and social media, and she can kind of head up the committee on that, or Tara can head up the committee on Chalk and the art festival, because she's been putting a list of vendors together for a long time. We also have moved away from our original ideas where we were discussing the concept of having a meet and greet with all the artists before we were going to go out into the community. And I feel like we pushed ourselves out into the community and attached ourselves to other departments when we're not really standing on our own 2 feet. And I think the commission, instead of attaching itself to other things before we're ready, we need to, first of all, get all our ducks in a row. We need to set up the people that we need to know and create that list that we originally talked about. And then we need to move forward. I just feel like, I guess that's really what I meant, is that we should need to take a project and head of a committee on that, and make sure that we set time limits in our meetings so that they're not running long and each person gets a chance to speak.
I agree as well. That, you know, your chair board, I've been to a couple of events in Kyle too that weren't mentioned yet. I've been making a lot of connections with vendors for our market day that we're going to have coming up. So, I just feel like if we kind of divide and conquer, play on our strengths, everybody take a chunk, get it done, and then come back and say, hey, this is what the plan is so far. Let it simmer instead of everybody jumping in and try to change it into something else. So we can actually start moving in the direction that a lot of us envisioned when we signed up for this committee. This commission.
Anybody else? Okay, all right, so I think one of the things that was happening is we needed to figure out where we were going. And if I am not mistaken, we had a discussion about focusing on 3 projects for this upcoming year, 22, 23.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
And we talked about doing the theater.
I've been focusing on the market day. I've been out at events, meeting vendors, introducing myself as a member of the Kyle Arts Commission and collecting lots of business cards, letting them check their email, because I'll be in touch to give them the information on how to sign up, because we'd love for them to be a part of our event. And they're super excited about it. But there hasn't really been space to talk about that or to develop that really. So I think, again, like if we just kind of all, now that we do have a little bit of a better feel for it, try to plan our representation events and just each person kind of head up to their strengths. Of course, we'll always have each other to talk to, or like, you know, somebody I need to get in touch with, or somebody needs to get in touch with, like Patty Moreno, she's my boss, so she's really easy to contact with me. And just kind of, you know, play with our strengths and everybody have a little bit more of an equal role in this.
I think we're getting to a point where we're gonna get a little bit more of a better feel and a role of who's doing what. For instance, Brooke, you're gonna talk to us about the community theater tonight. You're gonna start giving us more information. I asked you to bring information.
Yes, that was
to us.
very last minute that you asked me.
Okay, but we
So-
talked about that at the last
I
meeting.
understand, and I understand that. I've gone out and talked to several theaters. So, but it was very last minute that you put it on the agenda, so I'm glad that it got on there.
Wait, I don't understand what you mean about last minute that
When
got
you
on
sent
the.
me an email saying.
When I sent you an email to
Right,
remind you.
I didn't see it originally on the agenda.
Okay, because this agenda didn't get
I-
published, right?
Okay.
This was the one that was supposed to get published, but it
No
didn't.
worries.
So
That's okay.
anyway, okay, we get to that in a minute. But anyway, I just want to get to this point that, we are going to get to a point where we're going to have people on this committee doing specific things. We're getting to that point, right?
Why do I just feel like we've had it all for our pets?
Okay,
I just feel like I'm already starting to do that. Like, I just want to set a date and then let's, like, I got it, that part of it, like the vendor part, I know. And if we have the artist meeting, like we said, like that big introduction to artists in the community, we would have so many vendors already, because we already know them. And we have muralists to talk to about these, things that might be coming up. I feel that's really important for us to put our focus on, is to get people together and to, especially if we're developing our website, to have a place where people looking for artists can go to, artists looking for other artists to commune with, because.
Yeah, no, that was a great idea that we all came up with in the beginning, and it felt like it kind of took
Because
a
we
back
talked about that last, when was our first meeting?
It was our first meeting,
Yeah.
right? Okay. All right, I'm with you, and, seems like the idea is that we need that, somebody's gonna jump up and say, I will do that. I will start working on this proposed, event that we're talking about, where we're gonna bring artists together. Who's gonna take charge?
Great, I will.
I'll second that, and I think Liz can help
Liz,
with that
look
too.
at
with
that,
social
about it too.
media.
I think there were several.
So let's plan on having a report to
But
start
I'm
the
saying that
discussion.
I think that we should either follow Robert's Rules of Order and have the committees reporting with the
Right.
president or the chair listening, or we should create a different structure.
Okay, now, keep in mind that we're looking at Robert's Rules of Order, but we also have to follow the Open Meetings Act. The Open Meeting Act means that we have to bring things to the table and talk about them at the table, which will allow citizens to be able to come in and listen or gather notes, et cetera.
Right.
So a lot that we can do from the perspective of putting something together to present to the table has to be done, but there's no way we can make decisions by email or as such
We
structure.
all understand that, we all have the same training.
Okay, good deal. All right, so
Here with the open.
let's put that on the agenda, that this idea that you want to take lead on in regards to setting up a meeting of artists. What is that going to look like?
Well,
And let's
let's
bring
we'll
that-
get together as a group and we'll figure that out.
Yes.
If we want to be on it.
That's where I'm going.
People are at it, so the next time we come, we should have a date, an idea for a place that maybe we'll even have researched and get reached out to, maybe it's even this beautiful
I
library.
am, okay, I am game for that. So on the agenda for next time, there's going to be a report where a couple of you have got together to give us some clear information on where we want to go with this particular project. And that was I don't think it was put on the back burner. I think what happened was nobody stepped up to the plate and said, hey, I'm going to do it. So it's going to be on the agenda for next time, that we're going to get some information about what this is going to look like. When is this going to be? Who's
We
going to be
understand what
involved?
we need to bring.
All right.
So
Good, good.
I just have one question too. So when we come up with these events and all this planning, when do we go to council and how do we get money?
Okay, so we were designated a budget as of October 1st. It is $65,000. And what we're gonna do is, once we put together the proposal of how we wanna do whatever this project is, what kind of budget it's gonna have, at that point in time, Michael then will submit it to the city manager so that it can then go on the agenda for city council.
So we need to
So
come
we
with
will
that.
submit it to Michael.
Well, we can bring it here and have everyone look at it.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And then.
And to add to that, for instance, one of the things we talked about at the last meeting was changing our name. So there's actually something on the agenda today that I brought for you, where actual, recommendation that we're gonna look at. And we're gonna make some edits to, et cetera, so that this can go to the next city council meeting or whenever they wanna receive it. So we're actually got an action here that we're gonna do today that's listed on our agenda. And that was our name change to the Arts and Cultural Commission. We talked about it. We said, yeah, let's do it. So I actually brought you a document to look at today so we can move forward with that. So what we do is we will then submit something to city council, and then they tell us when they're gonna put us on the agenda. They may say, well, you get to be on the November 14th agenda, you get to be on the December 6th agenda, but we submit it through our liaison and we go to the next steps
I
from there.
think that's where we're at. I think that we need to start submitting stuff so we can take action.
Yeah.
and actually get
Yes,
events
just
rolling.
whenever you're ready, you bring stuff, I send it to the heads of
Yes.
state.
Yeah.
uh,
So one of the things I do recommend is that whatever is going through though, it's looked at by the whole committee.
I think we should have a shared Google Drive.
Yeah.
No, I agree. We'll fix them now.
And then,
However, we can set it up.
So we all get to take a look at and discussion. Now, we can submit this to, say we have a drive where we're gonna put things on, but to have a discussion and to make a decision
We
that we're
understand
going
that we
forward.
have to be here all
We gotta be here.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So needless to say, let's get moving. Y'all, here's the thing. Our fiscal year started October 1st. This is October 20th. So now is when we start to submit. We could have done it before.
We understand.
We had to
Yes.
wait until October 1st. So now I think we're ready to start moving this buggy down the road with very specific things that we want to do as they come up. Now, we did talk about that we were going to have, we were going to back a quilt show. We were going to support our colleague on the commission who is a quilter. We were going to connect to the quilt show. Basically, what we did is we told the city, we're endorsing the quilt show. And by that meant that information about the quilt show got placed on all of the social media for the city. And it improved their attendance according to the ladies that were there. And they said, thank you so much for, endorsing us and that kind of thing like that. What I sent out to you all was, here's a flyer. And take a look at this flyer. Actually, Melody and I created that flyer sitting here at the library. I sent it to you all to say, was this flyer
So
okay?
sorry, I don't understand what this has to do with our current business that we're doing. Just to get to, is this the unfinished business that we're at? Did we finish the discussion on the structure and format because it didn't feel like?
Yeah, I think we did. You said you wanted to, from my understanding, I'm thinking we're done with that.
I guess.
Well, I'm thinking that we got done with that, so I'm moving on.
Okay.
Okay, so we talked about, from my understanding, you guys said that you wanted to start moving forward with some things.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And the next thing on something that our secretary just put on the agenda, that you guys are gonna come back to us with at the next meeting and talk about this event that we're gonna plan for artists around,
Yes.
right? Okay, moving on from there. All right, so then, as we're talking about, well, the big thing was, my understanding is that you said you thought we were moving away from what we initially talked about. And I wanted to say to each of us that October 1st started the fiscal year. So things that we're now trying to start and doing, we're able to do now. We know how much money we have as of October 1st. We didn't know prior to that. The question was how much money we have, $65,000. What can we do with that? We can provide activities, events, etc., to the public using some of that money. We'll have to have something that goes before city council. I thought we decided on that. And we're gonna have a budget to go with it, to make note of how much money we're gonna need out of the money that we get in order to be able to go forth with that. So we're moving forward.
So just for me to kind of, since I'm new.
Great. Yeah.
Everything.
By all means.
So here's what I kind of hear everyone say. We don't really love this agenda style, but right now with the Open Meetings Act, it's probably best to follow this agenda style.
Yep.
However, we could do a better job to incorporate the ability for all members to have a voice at the table. And one of the ways to do that is to really plan some strategic action items that we get the ground moving on. All discussion has to happen here, but we can do lead work. We have to here. Yeah, after we're doing everything to get done. Perfect. And so we're in a little bit, we're going to see this recommendation to the city council. So it sounds like that could be a good boilerplate outline for what we can bring to the table next time. So we know that if we bring something like that for this artist meet and greet, and I'm sorry if I say it wrong. No, so artist meet and greet, so maybe when we all come back, you'll be able to bring this, and so we can go ahead and make the decision right then to move forward.
Yep.
At the next meeting, and giving everybody an opportunity to voice what they feel is probably the most important thing, or the reason that they're on there too, because I think we all have kind of our own motivations and what our own interests are. And then really all of this groundwork that y'all have
so graciously done up until this point that I get to benefit from, but the community gets to benefit from. Now we're live. We have a budget, we have recordings,
Yeah.
we have everything. So at this point, there's really no more reason for us to just talk in circles. Now we actually get to do the action. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, that sounds exciting. Thank you.
All right. So with that in mind, we're gonna move on. We got some unfinished business to do. We just need a quick overview from Michael in regards to the library event, because we did vote that we would be a part of that.
Mhm.
So Mike.
So we had about 300 people show up for the Fiesta de los Flores events for Hispanic Heritage Month. We had the Wallace Mariachi Band perform, and we had a group from Ballet Folklorico come and dance. We had some chalk art out on the plaza here with Vanessa and Susan Reyna and some kids doing some chalk art. And it was a big success. And we had a lot of extra fruit left over at the end. So a lot of the library staff got sent home with cut up fruit. So big success and went well. And look forward to more events in the next months and years.
I'm sending some pictures of the chalk art. We did vote that we were going to basically kind of sponsor it, endorse this event where we would allow us, anybody who wanted to go outside and participate. We had a lot of good folks that came out and did just that, created art pieces along the sidewalk, and it worked out very nicely. I was hoping that I would have gotten some of y'all to come and help out. I was able to recruit a volunteer to help me, and Susan Reyna is actually with the library. And she came out and sat with me because it was more or less babysitting chalk. Wow, and then telling people what to do, because people didn't know what to do. And so once we said, we want you to create the best flower, they just ran with it for the most part, and we were out there the whole time. So thanks a lot, Michael. It was a great opportunity for us to kind of do a joint venture with the library, and hopefully we will do more of those kinds of things in the future. So Melody was supposed to give us a report on the quilt show, that was her domain, and how that worked out. We were basically endorsing the event, which got a lot more publication, as I said earlier. And hopefully y'all went out to go check it out. It was nice. And they really enjoyed us being there. Well, I was there, I don't know who else had an opportunity to make it, but it worked out really well. I did want to get you guys' input on that flyer. Nobody responded back to me for the most part. Should we have used the word indoors? We were all over the place trying to figure out the perfect word to use. So we just went with the word indoors. The idea came up about a logo. That's something for us to talk about, what that needs to look like. The city communication office will have to have a part to play in that at some point in time. But overall, it went well. So hopefully Melody could give us more insights about it the next time. Okay, moving on.
So can
Yes.
I ask you a question? So you just brought up, logo, and I heard that mentioned a couple of times. Can I take that on and work with the city, just find out what we need to do to get that created?
Absolutely.
If somebody else was a graphic.
Liz.
Liz. So-
Yeah, I was gonna ask her about it tonight, but you are more than welcome to do it. And basically, take a stab at it first. And then once you take a stab at it and have something, then we send it over to them.
Well, let
And
me,
then they
yeah,
tell
let
us.
me- I'm not an artist, so let
Okay.
me find out what everything they need for us and like all the criteria. So when we take it to them, we've already met the criteria and it's just a small revision versus a redo. I was even thinking it might be something we wanted to open up to the public. And they can even submit like sketches, and then we have the graphic art people that we're gonna find some folks that make them. And then they can tweak it into an actual like computerized, cleaned up.
You found the parameters from the
Yes,
city,
let
then
me
you
put-
could create a, like a post and put it out to people and.
We find out how they'll let us advertise it and everything.
And maybe we could give like a, I don't know, like, since we have a budget, we could be like, the winner gets $100 or something like that. That might be kind of neat.
So it sounds like to me,
Incentivize people to
Vicky,
participate.
it's more of a project that you're gonna take on, and why don't you come up with how you
Yes,
want to do it?
yes.
Right?
It was
Yeah.
just a suggestion.
Whether you want to do a survey, whether you want
I
to.
just always try to.
So, because here's the idea, the idea behind the survey, that'll take a little bit longer, right? And so if you may come up with a time frame that you want to have this by spring of 23, whatever the case may be. So think about all those elements as you take on what this logo should look like. And then it'll be the communication person that you'll be talking with. Everybody's in those. All right. Okay, good deal. Okay, so the next thing that we have to discussion. Okay, so we said that for 22, 23, we were gonna focus on the art show. We were gonna try to do a mini art festival, and we were gonna do a community theater. Those are the three things that we voted on to do for 22, for 23, which started October 1st, right, up until September 30th. So with that in mind, the quilt show is done. That was one of the things we want to do. It was successful. They read about it, how they enjoyed us helping them with it, et cetera, et cetera. So we've got that one under our belt. Now, the mini art festival. Let me talk about that one for just a minute. And what I want to say about that is the idea was to tack on to the market day. Market Day is already something that occurs the second Saturday of the month. And not all of the the market days were themed. Some of them were just market day with nothing to it. So the suggestion on talking with everyone was maybe we would take one of them and try to focus it on being like a mini art festival. Well, the one we were gonna focus on was November. That's in a couple of weeks. That ain't gonna happen, right? So what I'm here to tell everybody is that November one is not gonna work for us in regards to we don't have enough time. With that in mind, I put in a call to the Parks Department, the group that's doing the market day, the department, to ask them, what does their market day look like for 2023? And maybe we can tackle to another one.
I actually propose we don't tack on to market days. I would propose that we do our own festival as an art commission.
Okay, well, now remember, what we were just doing a mini one just to get our feet wet.
Right, we can still do a mini one.
No. If we don't want to tack on to an art festival, I mean, a market day one, okay, that's fine. All we gotta do is find a location to be able to do it. So but the big thing I'm saying is, let's put that back on the table. We need to relook at it. We can't do November.
Right.
We gotta come up with another plan. One of the suggestions is maybe we don't do a market day, we just do it our own selves. So let's get somebody to lead that for us.
I would like to just propose also that we include the job festival idea that I have. A festival, it's a lot different than just having people come out and all the professional artists are coming, because it's a big crowd draw. And
The one
people
around
love,
Yeah,
yes,
that's what
would love to come and watch these artists start with just a pavement and just a slab and just like make something incredible. So I would like for that to be going on simultaneously while our artisans are selling their wares, and perhaps there's food vendors, maybe we have musicians. I don't know, maybe we plan for April when the weather's a little bit nicer, maybe April's not too soon, maybe May. But to give us time to reach out to vendors, get everything figured out.
Let's not, we need to look at when Round does theirs, because we don't.
Okay, I'll look at it right now.
Yeah, I feel like theirs is
Even
in.
if we did it in August, like even if we waited.
Let's do August.
But guys, I propose this. Brooke, since you're gonna be, kind of looking at the idea of putting together the event for the artists and that kind of thing like that, take the lead on that. And,
I actually don't want to just be the only one to take.
no, let me finish. Take the lead on that, Tara, and we're gonna get Liz to help you with that, okay? Because it sounds like Tara wants to do this art festival. So with the chalk thing, so how about Tara, you take the lead on that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, can you do that?
Yes.
So when you come back to us at the next
Yeah.
meeting,
You got
can
it.
you come to us with a possible date, a possible location, et cetera, so we can get the ball moving? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hit on stuff now, right? All right, so that's what I'm saying. If you take the lead on putting this event together for the artists, she can help you with it, but she's gonna focus on the art festival event, or the chalk festival, whatever we're gonna call it. Which she's a potential thing of doing it, you said September.
No, April, sometimes spring or
Okay.
hoping, but I'd like to associate it with our mini arts festival or whatever we're gonna call that, so that it's a draw.
Yeah,
So people, when people are drawing, it's a draw.
so when, you know, guys, one of the things I was thinking when I was talking about joining up with something that's already there, the more things you have going on, the bigger foot traffic you get, right? So if you got a couple of things going on, if you have, the Founder's Day celebration, and you have Market Day, and you have an event going on in the Crook Center, that's three things going on with three different audiences that they all come together. You just increase foot traffic, is all I'm saying.
Right,
So-
but when in the beginning, we talked about making sure that our first year that we set our foundation, that we did a few things and we did them very well, so.
Just bring it.
Right, but jumping out into a whole bunch of things and attaching to a whole bunch of other things, I think is not necessarily a way to jump in for our first year.
Oh, I think she was just saying that instead of a standalone arts festival, attaching that to something else, because other things that happen simultaneously tend to draw more traffic. I can see either way. I can see the first year it attaches to something because we get awareness around it and we get into growing it. And then I can also see the first year knowing that there'll be growing pains and we're gonna learn more from it than.
Right, I must have misunderstood, because I thought you meant we should attach ourselves to like Founder's Day and do things for each of these
Nope.
events, like we did to the Quill Show, we just throw our name out there to them. And said endorse, and I wasn't sure if you meant we should take different things and just say we're endorsing them, or if we should actually be doing.
Okay,
Well,
So-
with tacking onto market day, would we save more money? Or would, like, do we have to pay to get a location?
yeah, that's a possibility.
Well, it would kind of be like, but instead of tapping onto it, we kind of take over
We
it
would
for
be.
that weekend. So if Parks and Rec is okay with it, and
And
Maybe
Parks
it-
and Rec is okay with it.
since we're taking the whole thing out for it, then I don't know, we'll have to look at both ideas, just kind of see what.
Parks and Rec does not mind us taking over something at all. They've already said that to me, and that's why I asked them to submit to me what they're doing for Market Day for 2023, because I don't know if it's gonna be all 12 months.
They're actually having adult, well, not adult, but painting classes coming up starting in February. And it will be a BYOB type situation. I think that's what they're trying to explore. And so far, it looks like yours truly will be the person with the paintbrush, so.
Okey dokey. All right, so, art festival, it might be, whatever it's gonna fall in the name, that's it for right now, it's an art festival. We may have a better name for it later, thanks to Brooke. So Brooke, bring us something back to the next meeting to get us started moving down that path. So we got two things that are coming to us for next month. All right, moving on with that, one of the three things we talked about doing was community theater. Brooke, you're on. What you got?
Well, I reached out to several different theaters to kind of talk to them, and since we didn't have a budget and didn't know anything, there's not really a lot to report. I mean, ultimately, you have to find a space and a venue, you have to pick a show, you have to pay royalties for that show, you have to find people to volunteer, or you have to pay them. And then you have to fund, I mean, that's pretty much it, it's not rocket science. It's at time, it takes a lot of time, but really, we would have to determine out of the budget, like what wants to be spent to do a community theater show. My idea was to do a very small kind of black box idea, rather than doing like a large production. If we were gonna put on a large, very upscale production at the PAC, it would run us somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000. So by the time we done all the set design and paid royalties or something and cast all the people, and that would even be with volunteers, so.
Okay, let me stop you 1 second. So the
Okay.
30,000,
I'm not saying that, though. I don't want to do that.
no, I'm asking about money. I don't know about money. So you're saying that if we put on a major production, had it at the PAC, and did all the stuff that went with it, that'd be about $30,000? Okay, that's what I want to know is money. Because my question is,
And we can work with $6,000 for royalties for a script, so
okay.
it just depends on what you want to do.
I'm just looking at money because we've got
I'm
$65,000.
sorry, I didn't want to do that.
Wait, no, listen, let me finish. Finish. All right, so we got $65,000 of license for the year to do events that may come up, like your event, the couple things. So let's say that whatever you're gonna come up with, how much do we wanna spend? Could we put, say, $25,000? Could you work with that? Because now that you got a space of money in your head,
Yes,
to try to put things together, what you think you might want.
yeah, I could put an amazing check together for that.
Okay,
I mean, to be honest, like, I would probably reach out to several, like, I mean, we would want to hire people. I mean, at that point, sorry, I'm like so hungry. I know you can dinner. And I was like,
you don't want some cookies over there?
no, I'm trying not to eat sweets right now, because next weekend I'll be gorging myself on Twix and
Yeah,
Butterfingers,
salted
so.
nuts.
There's nuts.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know, I should
All
go
right,
grab
so
some.
yes.
Yes, I think that would definitely be a budget that we could work with, that we would be able to produce something that was fantastic, to be
Okay.
honest.
All right.
Bringing in some other people who would fill in roles that I don't have the expertise in, it would allow us to be able to do that as well.
So the $25,000 would cover all of that, you think?
My understanding is, yes, that would be close to, based on the conversations that I have with other directors and producers who have put on shows in Wimberley and Dripping Springs and Buda, that should be the amount. Again, it all depends on
Okay.
what direction you decide to go in. If you want gold plated sets, then probably it's going to be a little more. But I think that's definitely a number that can be worked with.
All right, so because I'd like to propose that now that you've got a potential budget in your mind of $25,000, start digging a little bit more, see what you can come up with. Because maybe at the next meeting, you could say, I found this.
Right. So I did kind of say, like, what are three or four really good, like, if we were gonna do a big production, what are some ones that would bring in a well-rounded audience? Because I really want to make sure that it's not something where it's like just, adults enjoy it, or it's just for little kids. And so there were four different ones that were just kind of thrown out. Mary Poppins was one of them. Young Dr. Frankenstein was another one. Chicago was actually one. One of the producers was like, you could do Chicago with clothes on, and it's actually a really fun kind of exciting. Yes, people are always like, yeah. Or the producers. So those are kind of just the four that were kind of being thrown around by different people. So with a big star on Chicago, because everyone I talked to said that with clothes, which is really funny. Right?
It's Chicago with clothes.
Yes, Chicago with clothes.
So, my other question that I had for you, okay, so $25,000, maybe that's Chicago, but is that not considered a big production, Chicago?
No, it is considered a big production.
But you
yes.
said you didn't want to do that.
Well, I wasn't sure what our budget was, so I honestly made the assumption that I wasn't sure where we were going, so I asked them different ways. And I was like, well, should we do like an avant-garde small black box, or we just do like a pop-up somewhere and, and do that, a very small piece, or do we do a larger production? So I kind of went both ways. If there's a budget for it, a larger production I think would be fantastic to bring to the pack, because it's a great venue and it's a wonderful space, and with a budget, we could do something quite amazing, I think. So,
Okay.
however, I think that takes a lot of time to plan. And so it's something that we would need to vote on as a commission and make that determination if we're going in that direction.
Michael, at one of our past meetings, our last liaison was talking about how we do have some connection with the PAC as far as rental fees and whatnot. Do you think you could look into that or
Okay.
get a number?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think go big or go home.
Let's see. This
Okay, I was worried about that. That's why I was like,
All right, so if we're thinking
Okay.
a festival in the spring, okay, sometime in the spring. This could be sometime in the fall, like, or late,
well, our.
We gotta.
Here.
And if it's still hot, that's fine, because we'll be inside.
Yeah.
So,
Right, exactly, thank you. Yes, very good point.
okay.
Because if we spend all the money, we're more likely to get that and more the following year, so we gotta.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So if we think about, okay, so I'm
Would
gonna,
Do you have connections with the theater at your school, or?
I knew the Wallace theater director, and honestly, like, I was in theater and it took them forever to get it together. Like, even for a one-act play, they would start in like August,
Yes.
September, go to December, and he never talked about money with us, of course, but like honestly, like for just a regular play, like I think they did Little Shop. They did it from like August to like February, March, so it would have to be like start now,
Yes.
honestly.
Is that something that you're interested in participating in?
Yeah,
Okay, so,
I could talk to him.
yeah, no, I'd love for you to jump on board and help out,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, all the
Yes.
drama programs.
Yes.
In the high school year, Nikki, she's full on fire. She's ready. It's her first year teaching. She's the drama teacher at Simon Middle School. She has those kids on stage every day.
Okay,
So I think she'd be a good volunteer asset person. Maybe I can ask her to, come to the next meeting just to be a community
okay,
member.
cool. Or I can set up the time to talk with her. and-
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Do you want to be the liaison that works with the drama teachers?
I could do that, yeah.
Yeah.
But is that what you want? Because the last time we
No, that's
talked about this, you said
I'm
that you didn't want to involve them so much. So
Well, what do you mean involved with?
when we were talking about, the drama teachers, and I was telling you about the director of drama, there's a fine arts director now in the
Oh,
school system.
I would prefer
My boss.
two.
There's two.
Oh, I mean, I would prefer to have them as people that we look to understand like our timeline and things like that, or reach out to other actors in the community, but I think that they have their own productions and things that they're doing. So I would like to pull other people from the community rather than just going through the school system.
Okay,
And
that's what I thought.
there's lots of-
That's what I'm putting on the table.
I mean, yes, kids could come and work the doors for us, or, you know, it's.
So, guys, I'm just trying, hold on a second, hold on, I'm just trying to get us on the same page here. That's what I was talking about, because you were saying, talk to the drama teacher, not just yet. Because,
Right, no,
not just yet.
tomorrow.
Yeah, not just yet. You
sketch
got
out
a few
and
steps you have to do as a person that's gonna take the lead on this,
So
and
we need
then,
to figure out timing for the pack first, to be honest, if that works, and then we can go forward.
I can get as much information as we need. from
that's right. So we're saying September, that's something that they can know, right? We,
No band performances going in September, so I feel like that might be it.
anywho, all right, okay.
Okay,
So give us, if you
well,
can,
I know that you put that number out there, but that's, I'm not sure if.
what number?
The 25,000.
Oh, yeah, we're just throwing that on the
Well,
table,
I mean, if you think about it, if there's three big events, we've already done one and didn't spend all that money.
right?
then
We
And
got,
that gives us.
Yeah, a lot of those top guys can come in.
well, now we got the festival one, and then we got the reception thing, and then we
Oh,
got,
okay.
right?
Don't worry.
Go ahead,
I
Vicky.
was gonna say, I still think that this mural idea is a good, quick hit to do in the next year, to have a couple people paint murals, so if there is money left over, we can stick
Yep.
it.
That's on our agenda to talk about, we're gonna get to that, okay? We're gonna get to that. So what about the idea that we got 65,000? I was basically looking at a third of it. So that's why I said I threw up the idea of $25,000 is what you got to work with.
Okay.
I mean,
So let's go with that, and we can always
Figure it
move
out.
money around, right, as we need
Yes.
to. Something didn't cost as much as we thought, that sort of thing like
It's a
that,
big
so.
marquee event. That
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
But the big thing is, you said, the thing you said is, well, you know, how much money do we have and whatnot, so I'm putting the budget item in the back of your head that you know what you got to work with for right now, is at 25,000. Okay, so, all right, so Brooke, you're gonna come back to
Yeah, I'm gonna poke around.
poke around, come back next meeting, give us some more info, because you got a few more pieces of
Yeah.
information there.
Well, I'm gonna, so make sure I'm on the agenda, please, next time for the reception and for the.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so
You
we'll
got it.
we'll get it, because I think that reception needs to be done sooner rather than later.
Okay,
So,
so come back, and when you come back next time, you're gonna give us more information about the reception, like a time frame when you want it, okay?
January.
Especially
yeah,
sooner
I
than
think we
later.
should, well, I'm thinking with holidays.
Yeah,
And people being
January.
ever, January.
I'm with
That's
you.
pretty much everything that we're talking about too, is like.
Yeah, it's just
New Year,
January,
New
so
Year,
don't even
New Year.
think about it. So let's just put that in January,
January, okay,
and we'll firm up a date and a place.
gotcha.
I want to find a really nice space that's great, and.
Yeah, first thing that came on popping in my head was gemstone. in regards to a nice space that could get,
I don't know, nice
Large
space
number of
relative
people.
to see,
um, that,
maybe something avant-garde.
okay?
Gallery.
All right.
Yeah, maybe.
Here in the city limits?
Yes, 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 here in the city.
It have to be here in the city limits if we're telling the city council we're gonna spend some of their money.
Yeah.
It's gotta be here. So that's just a little FYI. All right, and then we will also, we said that the festival, we're kind of working on that date, right? We're kind of working on that.
Yes, I'll have a couple for you guys to choose from next time.
Okay, and then we also said the community theater, we're looking at September.
So I'd like, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'd like to add in a piece to the art festival, I think of like a community art creative piece. I've got something in my head that I was working on with Stan Marcus, but I'd rather do it in kind of.
Okay, we are good with that. We are moving on unless we have something more. We got some tangible stuff to work on. Okay? All right, let's go to the discussion of the website. Let me see.
Can we table that until Liz is here?
Yeah, well, next time Rachel can be here from communications.
Okay.
So maybe just wait until.
I think it's something that's
Okay.
very important, but I think we should probably have.
Well, let me say that in regards to website, I wanted to share with you what's already on there. And that's going to lead into the piece that we're going to talk about that we're submitting to by name change. So let me submit this to you. So talking about the website, that's fine. Let me share what we already have on the website right now. So that you can take a look at it. There we go. All right. So right now, here is what's on the website, okay? Not a whole lot of information. As you can look on that last page, we had something that said upcoming event. That was our contribution to the quilt show. We sponsored it and they got the information placed on the city's information. That was pretty much it. That's all we do. Didn't cost us much money at all. Just a little bit of time. So it worked out, okay? And the big thing was it showed Melody that this idea of textures and textiles was a part of the art world. And she was very happy about
And
that.
the display here in the library, kids were fascinated. by it.
Yes. So that was another thing that, because we endorsed it, and again, I use the word endorse, we weren't happy with that word, but that's what we went with. Okay, now the reason why I'm sending this to you, just to show you, here's what we have now. We need to think more about this idea of website, and we can certainly table this to the next time. I will tell Liz that we're putting this on the agenda the next time, so she can be here to give us a little bit more insight. How do we want to develop this? Is this all we're interested in? Do we want more? Okay.
I feel like that's a thing we should give to someone to like table, sort of like Tara's doing the chalk saying, like.
Liz sounds like a girl for that.
Liz actually said she'd be very
Yeah.
interested in doing that.
I do want to speak for her and thank you to her.
She did.
Okay, I just wanted to,
Okay,
I still
all
want.
right.
So
So-
what I can do as the liaison is I can get her in contact with whoever's developing on our side, and they can work together and make something. work.
Now, what I've done in the past and done some projects is they like the idea when you bring something to them
Mhm.
Yes.
and start from there, not say, can you create
Yeah,
a
it makes-
website? They want stuff already and then they take it and run with it from there. That's just like that logo, right? We say, we want it to look like this, and then they tell us all the things that's good and bad about this and make us happy with whatever they come up with. But they don't like to start from scratch. They won't start with something.
Yeah, they already got a job.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so just wanted to share that with everybody. We will put a website more on there because as we're talking about developing this list of artists and those kinds of things, that has to go someplace, right? So we have to have the template of that in place to start adding to it. So it's kind of like a before then after type thing. So just keep that in mind, all right? All right, so moving on, I'm going to move to new business. And as you can see on the new business, it says mural. So we had a discussion about this early on. One of the things we did when we first got started is everybody kind of listed like 6 bullets of things that they kind of want to see that came out of this committee. And mural was one of the ones that everybody said something about. And of course, it came up again with a citizen. And so now we're going to let's have a little bit of discussion about this mural. a couple of things for us to think about. I think we just need to kind of have a general discussion and throw things around. Because we gotta look at where it's gonna be, where can we put it, how much money we're gonna use for it. All of these things come into play. I think everybody said, yeah, we need a mural somewhere around
I
town.
felt like we were gonna wait for a while because there's so much new development going on
Yeah.
between that Veterans Park and the whole, the mayor was talking about the new walking trail and all those restaurants and
Yeah.
things that are gonna happen.
Absolutely.
I know if we looked at the downtown area, Papa Jack's gets fixed first before we can figure out anything down there. So I don't know, I know, like, I've put in applications to do murals through San Marcos before, and I know it looks like it's pretty detailed, like, they offer this much money to the people, they already have a place picked out.
Right.
Artists submit their things.
Yes.
I love that this one company did it, but I think that we need to have more of an open mind, maybe, with more ideas.
Yeah, I agree. I think that that's a larger project to undertake.
For now, because there's just a lot involved, there's supplies, there's permission of where we're gonna put it,
And I can say from a price standpoint, when I went to Grand Junction and found out about what they paid for their murals, they paid about 25 to 30 per square foot.
dollars.
Mhm.
They're not cheap.
No, I know. I mean, it was exciting to put my hat in the ring for it, because there was a lot of money that they were gonna give to the artists that got it.
And there's a small amount of good, like, big spaces to put murals in.
San Marcos has got all those little twists and turns, and like, I think the one that was on the side of Pop Jack's building or something, so.
Actually, guys, I actually.
There's a lot of cash and a lot of.
I went around town, taking pictures of spots, that I
Do
didn't.
you want to head up the mural? and-
I can.
To find like a really good spot for at least one.
I went around and I took pictures of 12 locations in town. Now, 6 of those locations were at areas that are under development right now. And so I was gonna come back to you guys and say, because this person came to us and said, hey, I can do this mural for you, which is why I put it on the agenda. I do believe that we wanna wait on it just a little bit. And we've got 3 areas popping up right now that are potential places, but they're in early stages. They're on the groundbreaking, or the building is going up, et cetera. I say we keep this on the docket, but we wait just a little while longer. One of the city council people did come up and say, hey, did y'all find a spot for a mural yet? And I said, mural, yes. Where? Not yet. Right? And there's a place, actually, when I went over and took a picture of the mural of the pool, there's a building across the street from where the pool is, just an open building. It's got 4 sides to it. Don't know, there's a lot of traffic goes
Yeah,
through
I
there.
think you know what
So-
school is.
Okay, so,
It's great, it's,
yeah, so there's a big building there, 2-story building. I think it's a pump station or something like that. It belongs to the city. Now, if the city owns the building, that'll make it easy for us to be able to paint on it. But if the city doesn't own the building, then we have to go through the motions of getting that connection with who owns the building.
We do need to respond to the person that made the suggestion, because we don't want to let people think we don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
I do.
I was just gonna say, maybe but in the future, when people come up, we just say, hey, yes, this is a great idea.
Yeah, that's a practical response. Do you want to write a
I
response?
already did, already did.
No, I mean, just like a formal response that we give to people when they send
When they
us
say
suggestions.
something,
Yeah.
okay.
The arts commission form.
Yeah. Like, an artist says, hey, thank you so much for your idea, blah, 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 you know?
My one suggestion about the mural idea is kind of taking a playbook from what Austin did. I don't think Austin did it intentionally. I think it organically happened, but I think we have to do this intentionally. You can spend a very fun evening going from mural to mural where you take your picture, and in each mural, there's something to do. Like you can have dessert at one, or you can have drinks at another one, or this one's by a park. And so I know it's tougher down here, but I feel like
But we can make it happen.
but we can be really intentional. If we think about where we want to map it out. So even if it is a 3, 5, 7-year project, we're inviting people in, and we could even sponsor, you know, in the beginning of the nights, like, oh, you know, like scavenger hunts or something, do things for kids and families. But I do want us to think when we start mapping out where they should be,
what it's gonna be long-term, we pull them all together. I think that new business area is gonna be an important space.
So it's part of the thing that I've learned in Grand Junction too, is their practice of doing micro grants for artists and for restaurants and businesses to create art on their businesses. So if you think about like, okay, they own this building, we can't just put a mural up, but if you give out little micro grants for, you want to beautify your place and you want to put up art on your building, here's how much money we'll give you to do that.
And you have to maintain it, because we have to
Yeah,
make sure that.
That, yeah, there's some.
Right, yeah, there's a lot of. I know about people that.
Details. I'll work on details. I won't come back to our next meeting. It'll be probably next meeting is what, November? Maybe if it won't be December, it'll be January. I'll come back with more details
Yes,
about
this
this.
one, this is gonna be, it'll probably take us a year to plan with all the pieces and we get everything else.
All right. We will get to working on that, but I did respond to the lady about the mural and said that the mural is one of the things that we have on our agenda, things that we're just looking.
I like that she said the word formal process. I really think it's a good response to people, like, they give so much of suggestion, we're talking about it, everything must go through a formal process. And we'd like to hear your
Well,
thoughts.
it's for you to come to a meeting and share your thoughts.
I did tell her that, and she said, thank you so much.
Yeah.
She actually said she was gonna try to come to this meeting, so I don't know what happened, but yeah. Anytime I get a response from anybody about anything, I invite them to this meeting. So, okay.
All right, I'm thinking our secretary should take that over.
All right, I think she said she got it all down, didn't she?
So, and everybody should be getting the emails that people send to that Kylan's Commission email, so.
And what we'll do is, you and I will communicate about the response. Okay. All right, moving on from that, so here's something I want to kind of throw on the table just for a minute. And that was on the new business about doing a joint workshop with the Arts Commission, the Parks Board, and the Library Board. I want to just throw that on the table. We could not do that and wait on it for a little bit. We all kind of have the same vision for the most part. And and one of the reasons why I suggested this was someone submitted one of these emails to the Parks Department, the lady with the pool. She sent it to the Parks Department. The Parks Department director sent it to me because that's technically in our domain, right? And so she said, oh, thank you so much, but I'm going to forward this to the chair of the Art Commission because that's kind of what they're doing now. And so my idea was to have this conversation with the Arts Commission, the Parks Board, and the Library Board, just to kind of get everybody understanding what everybody's doing. But we don't have to do that right now.
You mean pulling all the boards together, not having a workshop with Brill?
Yeah, so we're all just.
I thought you
getting
meant we
out
were like
together to kind of
Yeah,
try.
I thought we were gonna have an art project.
Yeah, that's what I'm
We're
saying.
gonna sponsor it.
You just mean have a meeting with all.
Like,
these.
Have a meeting for that, just to be, yeah, just to be, that might come out of that, but. So,
Why
yeah.
don't we kill two birds with one stone?
We'll do a wine and painting.
Can they
thing.
Why don't we do?
Can they come first?
Why don't we do the artists? Do we invite
That's
the?
what-
That's what, I think that's where you're going, yeah.
Let's just bring them in there.
Bring them in
and
there,
then-
okay,
Yeah.
all right. So we're going to, all right, so we'll do this, we'll have these special invitations that's going to them, but it'll be a part of the.
But I don't know how much conversing we'll have time to do with them if we're meeting new artists and introducing ourselves to the community. And I just feel like going on at one time.
We can wait on this if you
Because I
want.
want-
I just really think it's a good idea
I do.
that we bring these groups together, just to have a conversation. It's not a priority thing right now, but I think it's very important because things are going through them. And remember, we're the new kids on the block, which means that I talk to people all the time that says, oh, when did we get an arts commission? They had no idea. And speaking of one person on the library board who had no idea there was an arts commission.
So why don't we make them sooner rather than later? Because it doesn't sound like it needs to be as formal.
Yeah,
as the
can they come?
Because if they're all housekeepers, I guess.
Michael, how many are on the library board?
Seven board members in Carroll, so.
And so, and Parks and Rec is about the same.
Yeah.
We have some.
Lunch, just like a little lunch here and sandwiches and stuff and have just a meet and
Or
greet.
BYOB, like bring your own bag.
Your lunch.
And we got money to pay for it.
I just, it could not, it would have to be planned like on a weekend or a kind of. I'm a school teacher, there's no way.
So, well, definitely.
They
I
want
was-
to get work.
So what if we tried to do, what if we tried to do like a Saturday lunch or something like that? Or like a reception or, not reception, because,
And let's think about this, because.
A meeting of some kind
A meeting
sounds
of
good.
mine.
yeah, meeting of some kind, where we have food. And we could have food, a general, and food, you know, food.
Where we can maybe, well, why don't we make it like a potluck thing and then.
No, no, I love, no, I don't, I'm a Polish girl, okay, so, ladies, shall I work on this?
Table that.
Yes.
Do you want me to work on this?
Yes.
Let me work on this and looking at a date, a time, et cetera, and come back.
Yes.
Would you like to have it done before the end of the year?
I wouldn't mind, instantly, because it's like, December, it's kind of hectic in December.
Okay.
Um,
Let me work on it. Try and have it done by 2022.
Yeah,
Okay, all right,
that would be
got
good.
it.
Just, even if it's just like a 30-minute touch base.
yeah, that's fine, yeah.
All right, then, all right, so now we're moving down the line, because we need to move on here. I'm going to send you, here's the proposal of the recommendation to send, I'm just gonna send that to you. That's it. Here's the recommendation about the name change, rationale, etc. Let's take a look at it. Notice I have the lines numbered, so when you tell me about making changes to it, you can say, look at line 6, etc., etc. This is our normal when I write these kind of things. So read through it, tell me what you think. There you go. There was one very minor correction on the back on the second page of the topic. But, yeah, kind of things to say there.
Does it stand for anything, or we're just capitalizing it?
That's my first thought.
Like,
Not,
area of residence,
no,
together.
just, no, I thought about that, but no.
So I don't think we should capitalize it if it doesn't, if it's not an acronym. Sorry, that's.
Other than what I put in there about the change of the art to arts implies that we expand our vista. That's my only.
But,
I think this does still be
Put it as solid without capitalizing.
without being capitalized.
yeah.
Okay. So you're saying, okay, let's finish up and then we'll just go line by line, tell me where you got changes.
Line 8 should have A,
Where?
and then, and addition of a mission statement to its description.
Which one did you say?
8, the art commission would like to request a name change and addition of a mission statement.
And additions, okay, all right.
Arts and Cultural Commission is the proposed name. Arts, line 10, capital letters. But I think we should take that out.
Okay,
Just,
and you're saying we just gonna keep it at
Yeah.
arts with an S? Okay, I can move
I would
that.
just say arts and then cross out in capital letters along with the word cultural to enhance the description and organization for the city. Yes.
the responsibility section of the art commission description already lists. So line 12 should have an S, lists cultural programs in bullet 3.
Okay.
Line 18 varies to various.
Well,
Okay.
actually, I propose we remove on line 16, we remove those two sentences, one of our current commission members. Yeah, that just from there to the end, because it doesn't really, it's not relevant. Yeah, because it says that we're gonna accept all kinds and that it's to us, we understand.
Yeah, no, she knows exactly what it means.
Wait, okay, tell me where again?
Line 16,
Uh-huh,
where the sentence starts one.
One, okay,
I
take,
would just remove one all the way down to line 18 where it says community.
okay, take all of that out, okay.
I think the next paragraph is good.
So I think we should have the word vista. I don't think that that's the right word there.
Tell me what you think is
The
better.
change of art to arts implies that we expand our vision.
Really, because a vista is a synonym for vision.
Okay, well, to me, it's like a pleasing view,
Well, yeah,
or like,
yeah, you look at it from an art perspective, yeah.
Maybe horizon?
yeah,
Yes.
horizons are great.
Horizon,
To include.
To include many versions of art.
all right,
Which is the addition, an addition of a mission statement.
so, when you look at the starting, sentence on line 15, the change of arts to arts imply that we expand our horizon to include many versions of art.
That we will be expanding our horizon.
Okay, so it sounds like you want me to rewrite that sentence all over again, and I need specifics for that.
The change of art to arts implies.
So I'm going from lowercase to uppercase, and you guys are saying, let's not do
Well,
uppercase.
that's necessary if we're not capitalizing.
That's what I'm going.
Yeah, we're pluralizing.
So
Yeah,
it's,
so I do think it's
the
important.
change of art to arts,
Gotcha.
includes or encompasses. Sorry, it's hard for me to do
How
without
about
writing.
the change of art to arts supports our expanded vision to include
And is inclusive of a variety of different forms of art.
of our mediums.
Art mediums,
Yeah.
I hope that's
Okay,
okay, because I'm.
so, write that down on there from you and give it back to me. What you just said.
Did anybody write that down?
No, I thought, sorry.
No, I'm just thinking back.
Yeah, two of y'all talking at the same time. So,
Okay, I'll let you.
Strip tip.
all
I
right.
don't even remember, does anybody remember?
You said the change of art to arts
But I don't think, is that what got us in the
suggests
big little discussion?
that we expand.
Sports.
No, I'm sorry, it's support, I'm sorry. I didn't-
Supports are expanded.
Supports
Vision
our.
to be inclusive
Of all art mediums.
of all art mediums.
Okay. So that's the sentence that's gonna replace the one that's.
Okay, so let me read it out loud again. The change of art to arts supports our expanded vision to be inclusive of all art mediums.
So line 19 needs the word the between to and description, in addition of a mission statement to the description of the commission. We, the members of the commission, believe that our work advisement and grant seeking endeavors will enrich the city.
Apostrophe S.
Yes, apostrophe S, cities, creative energy in different areas such as the visual arts, natural scenic areas and culture. I would just say different areas. Let's scratch now.
Let me tell you why I kept that. I kept culture expression to connect to the idea of adding culture. I added natural scenic because at
How about including cultural expression?
I think it's fine. I like, I
Leave it.
don't have, I understand
Yeah.
cultural expressions because you've got.
cultural expression.
Arts, areas.
We, one of the developers at 2 city council meetings ago, pledged to give the art commission $100,000 to improve the area where a new apartment complex is gonna go up between the hospital
Where's the money?
and Lowe's. It's coming to the city. And the city overwhelmingly approved it. And what the city said, wow, we already gave them $65,000. That $100,000 will be just fine, but it's gotta go for that area.
Sure.
So that is why I wanted to put in natural scenery in case another developer comes through and they want to do the same thing.
No, I think that's perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so on line 23, it needs to say the proposed mission statement, because we're not
Is that a
saying.
mission statement?
We don't have one.
Oh, well, then I think we need to work on a mission statement, because that's We might need to do that as a group.
So this thing could go without a mission statement.
Yeah.
And then the next thing,
Yeah, let's take that.
next thing on the agenda for next time. is
Well,
making-
I was trying again to, incorporate why cultural was going to be added to our name.
Yeah, but I think it's good so far. Like,
I think you've done that.
Yeah, no, I think you did.
Without the mission statement?
Yeah.
I think you did a great job.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then line 30 needs to.
Cause you know what we can throw our mission statement in when we're updating the website as
Yeah,
well, so,
work on that.
cause we'll find a lot of things that.
So,
Put a big
and
recommendation.
we have been given carte blanche to go in and make changes as needed to the document that we're really at. So let me see if I got this correct. So line 30 will say the art commission requests a name change, period.
Yes.
Y'all good with that? Okay. And then, up at line 8, the art commission would like to request a name change and a period. And then at the end where it says, and in addition of the mission statement to its description, take all that out.
Yes.
Okay, and then it'll say Arts and Cultural Commission is the proposed name. Right?
Correct.
Okay, and then it's gonna say arts in lowercase with just S added onto it with the word cultural to enhance the description and the work of this committee for the city. Okay. All right, okay, so we're just gonna focus on name change. Got it. And this is what I mean by, we bring something, we look at it and fix it. And so I will send this out to you guys for you to get a final look at, and then we'll be ready to submit it to the city. That's how this works.
That sounds good.
All right. All right, you don't need it when you go on? Yeah.
I just want to let you guys know of an upcoming event, at the park on October 29th. They're having all of our mariachi bands for the whole district. Having like a big thing there, they're selling things of food, so, if y'all, October 29th, it's on a Saturday.
So that's the day after the next Catherine Porter Literary Center reading at 7 PM on the Friday, the 28th.
Okay, so it's next Friday. Okay, thank you.
So,
All right.
and so you can go to that, and then the next day, go to see some mariachi, a very culturally enriching weekend. To give us one.
It's your birthday?
So, it's.
Okay,
That is
so the 28th quarter, the Catherine quarter is at 7 PM. And like I said, they have a light reception before they get started. And then what time is the mariachi thing?
I think it's all day. I will find out and send you it. I'll put it out in an email. Cool.
Probably our Wallace people will be there after doing their great performance here.
Well, this developer that said they would give $100,000, could I even, like?
Don't put that in, yeah.
Don't put
Yeah, I've got to get it.
So-
I was sitting in the meeting when it happened, and they
So
approved
are we
this.
ready to adjourn?
So it's just like a.
Okay, so let's just do that then, I guess.
All right, so ladies, at this point, I believe we are ready to adjourn. We went all the way through our agenda. Anybody, any other announcements? Anything else we need?
When is our next meeting? It is the third Thursday.
Oh, glad you.
The 17th, November 17th.
This is third Thursday Thanksgiving.
No.
Oh.
Fourth.
It's a week after. So we're still good.
Oh, we're gonna do Thanksgiving together.
So, yeah, so it's the 17th is our next meeting, always the third Thursday of the month, unless something happens at 7 PM here in this room. Or next one.
And the second Thursday of the month is the library board
The
meeting,
library
so if
board.
you want to come bother them,
Yeah.
feel free.
That's a lot of news.
Yeah. Just come in and haze them.
Yeah, I plan on being at the next.
I just wanted to say, I feel like this is such a productive, there's one of the things, everyone for your inputs.
Guys, we gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're official now. We got money. We can start moving. We got projects working on, and people gonna come in and tell us what we're gonna be doing. So I am looking so forward to all the
If
things.
anybody- Next time needs snacks, tell me ahead of time so we can provide snacks. A cheese tray or.
Choose cheese is great, yeah.
We could just go to H-E-B and buy it, have it here.
Yeah, we're done. We are officially adjourned the meeting.
I'll get it.
Meeting is adjourned, and it looks like it's 8:32. All right. For the most part, Vicky, it lasts about an hour and a half.
Oh, that's
So.
So I have a question